So hello everyone, we are in an undisclosed location in a mountain area. I'm filming something else out here. We're actually blowing a beautiful car up, which is pretty amazing, right? Rockets! Tori, yes, doing what he does best, blowing stuff up. As I got to know him, he derives a lot of pleasure from really blowing things to the smithereens. Ah, Sleepless Pro, good seeing you. Thanks for joining. Oh, the Moby, thank you so much, Veloster Racing Red. So, Veloster Racing Red, I got some insight from my partners at CSF this morning. It looks like the new radiator for the Veloster N is going to hit the market in summer. So, hopefully, that's not such a bad thing for you. And for those of you who don't know, the Veloster N is a beautiful car. It's Hyundai's answer to the Type R. Mine makes about 320 horsepower. I think Veloster Racing N with his mods makes about 330, which is great. And this intercooler that's a collaboration between Bisimoto and also CSF is unlike anything out there. It has a step setup. The core is amazing. Very little pressure drop, but also has impeccable cooling capabilities, unlike anything else in the market. So when it comes out, I'll make an announcement. I'll do even a buy-in for those individuals to take advantage of the first hit on the market with a nice discount. It's going to be really cool. So I'll have it in both silver and black. And it'll have the CSF logo on it, embossed Bisimoto. It's pretty cool, you know? What am I doing at the range? Asked Falcon Lover. I'm here with my host and the crew from Motor Mythbusters. And we're actually blowing up a car as one of the myths. And when it comes out, I think you guys will find this extremely exciting. So I have Faye in her car over there. She's waving. And I have Tori over there eating lunch. I'm quite hungry. I should join them very soon. But that's pretty good. Chicken Little's asking, what is a Boxster engine? That's a great question. You know, most engines... Oh, come say hi, Faye. Come say hi. That's Faye. Snacks. That's Faye. That's Faye. See, there she is, having her snacks. Woo! Good. You know? Oh, silver is what you'll get, Speedy. That's very good. So Faye's having her lunch in her vehicle. Yeah. And we're having some fun here. Okay, so, a Boxster engine. As the name implies, think of the engine looking like a flat box. Most inline-4 engines, let's talk about that, are upright in terms of pistons and the head sitting on top. Think of, instead of having 4 pistons sitting up top, think of 2 split to the side. Now, what that does, it gives an opportunity where the engines are extremely balanced, because as the pistons come in on one side, it goes on the other. And the same with the other side. So you rarely, if at all, see any Boxster 4, Boxster 6, Boxster 10, Boxster 8 with any kind of harmonic balancer, because they don't see the 5th wave harmonics that they see in inline 4 engines. And what I mean by that is, inline 4 engines inherently have different vibrations and they're unbalanced. And as they move up and down, there's no way to counterbalance those movements that go up and down, north and south. But a Boxster engine goes, let's say, east and west, and each piston cancels out each movement. So they're very well balanced. So I hope that helps, eh? Hello, R35, R13. Good evening, Adenan94. I wonder where you are. Yivi 72020. Thank you so much for joining indeed. Hello, Rob Jethis, you know. When is the Moby coming out, says Scoompa SMR20? Well, that's a great question, sir. Our plan is to launch it at SEMA this year. So first week of November. It will be unraveled at SEMA, which is the Specialty Equipment and Manufacturer Association show that happens in Vegas, usually the last week through the first week of November, last week of October through first week of November. That would be an industry show. So people who usually go to that show, individuals within the industry and so on and so forth, we'll do some videos leading up to that. We'll do some coverage right there. I'll do my Tech Tuesday in front of it. It's going to be great. However, for the public consumption at City of Ontario, California, at Porsche, Ontario, we're going to launch it for public consumption. So you can definitely come by and take a look, you know? Are you testing drive-bys? Not quite yet. I haven't done much yet, only because of the pandemic. So I haven't done that either, you know? You should tune Ebo's Touran Porsche 911. I am so down, Ron Motorsport, whenever he or she is ready. Oh, nice. Yes, BRZs are typical Boxster motors, Chicken Little, by all means. In the UK, so you're 8 hours ahead of us. Right now, we're 12:23 here in California, but you're 8 hours ahead. So stay safe. I think you guys have rain this week in the UK, which is pretty interesting, you know? What's up, Born Slippies? Hello, Cameron Willis. Good seeing you indeed. Single Cam God, thank you so much. Yay, see, that's where I really honed my teeth, was in single cam engine performance. Not because I want to push the envelope, but initially as a student, and Speed Camp is here, Roger, he can attest to this, I couldn't afford the expensive B-Series swaps. So I did what I could with what I had at my disposal. And then when I graduated from university, and had the opportunity to make some money, I had the unique opportunity to be able to use any type of engine I desired. But I noticed how people really gravitated to the single cam and how there was no aftermarket support. So I went with the big block single cam, which is the F22A, and continued my reign of terror using that engine. Happy Tuesday to you as well, Panserson. Good seeing you. Do you have time to build cars with all this TV? Says Max Drake. Yes, I'm a bit of a vampire. So what does that mean? I do sneak away from set from time to time, even though our location is pretty far from my office. I do sneak away from time to time to go to the office in the evenings and at night time to work, and some weekends as well. And they're kind enough to give me some breaks, so from time to time I do come in. I don't have a dull moment. I'm constantly during the daytime with the production crew, and at nighttime I'm working on project cars for clients and myself. So it's really a lot. Thank you so much, Pure All. Appreciate that. That is a nice kind hat with the BJG logo on it. Thank you so much, Speed Camp. Appreciate that. For those of you who don't know Speed Camp, that's Roger Scalise at the helm of Speed Camp. He's one of my first sponsors. Did wonderful things in terms of early adoption of aftermarket injection systems. He had turbocharged cars before most of us even dreamed about it. He indeed was a pioneer and continues that efficacy till today, which is great, you know? What is the current condition of the inside? Asked Rod Motorsport. It is sitting in my garage collecting dust. Right now, it has electronics updated from a Series 1 AEM to an Infinity, but I haven't put an engine in it. So it's sans drivetrain and power plant as we speak. Hello, 722 Modeling. I don't know what you're saying. I know that's Korean, but I'm not familiar with what you're saying. I think Eston68 is having a good conversation with him, which is pretty nice indeed. So last week, it was really windy when we were at the Air Force Base in Vandenberg filming. And what's interesting is someone asked me about the opportunity to utilize light and flywheels in turbo applications. And I'm a huge advocate of that. So flywheels are devices that dampen the pulses that come out of internal combustion engines. Because as you think, as pistons come up and down and that energy is transferred to the crankshaft, it doesn't come smoothly. It comes in jolts. And the crankshaft does a good job in taking that up and down motion of the pistons and turning it to rotational movement, but it's not very smooth. So a flywheel is a large dampening device that dampens that out and allows for smooth idling and running of cars. It also allows for explosive launches because you build up all this momentum when you're revving on the line, and when you dump the clutch, that energy just goes straight to the ground, which is great. However, as hard as it is to accelerate a heavy flywheel, it's also very hard to keep that flywheel in motion. So in racing, since most of the time the object is to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible, I want to lighten components as much as possible indeed. And same with spooling. I've noticed that with a lightened flywheel, aluminum or whatnot, you have an opportunity to have a very quicker spool. You have acceleration. Your throttle response is absolutely peppy, which is great. So I'm a huge advocate of that. But there's a caveat. And that caveat is this. Your idle quality will suffer slightly. When you put your AC on, you feel a little bit of more depression in your idle as well when that happens. And as quickly as it falls into boost or spools up, that's also as quickly as it can fall out of boost, which is pretty interesting as well, you know? Max Drake is asking, could a Prius be modded to be a muscle hybrid? Absolutely, especially when you focus on the petrol side of that. Now, if you're looking at some of the pure EV Priuses, there are ways to modify the inverter to use certain ways to spoof certain sensors to give you more output. But yes, it could happen. Shoot some guns. You know what, Ian? I have something crazier than that here. The team and I have explosives, so we're gonna blow up a car, which you will see when this Mythbusters show comes out on television. What is your first car? Says Eston68. Well, the first car I ever drove was a Peugeot 504. For those of you who may know what that is. The first car that I bought here in the United States when I came here, believe it or not, was a Nissan 200SX, and I promptly got rear-ended, and then that gave my love for the CRX. So I got an 88 CRX HF, which became the car that I ended up racing and putting me through school as well. Could you have improved the electrical hybrid system of the CRZ knowing what you know? Absolutely. So something that I'm going to do in the next few weeks is not only to elegantly modify a petrol engine in a CRZ, but also to focus immensely on the integrated motor assist assembly, finding ways to do what I mentioned earlier about the Prius, to spoof the controller to give us more output, and possibly to get rid of the nickel metal hydride batteries and upgrade to more stable, more, I would say, anti-sag friendly lithium-ion batteries. So yes, let's talk about that in a few weeks when I have had some experience playing with that. I need advice on modding an '05 Honda Odyssey. Let's go. Let's do it. Explosive. Damn, bro. Chill, says Diego. It's fun. I am an explosive virgin, meaning I have done fireworks. I do anti-lag on cars. I have never had the opportunity to explore a vehicle explosion using dynamite or TNT. I've never seen that. So I'm pretty excited about that indeed, you know? What are good starter cars, says Chicken Little? Well, it depends. So if you want something that's on the more higher end, that's very balanced and a lot of fun, you can't do wrong with any Porsche Cayman. Those things are underrated, definitely cars that handle very well, very balanced, they're amazing. And if you want to stay in that same realm of balance and handling, and your budget is kind of open, Dodge Vipers are amazing too. Those are like America's supercars. Now, taking a step further, if you want something that's more budget conscious, there are two cars I tend to turn to a lot. The earlier Mazda Miatas, which are pretty cost effective, very fun and tossable, the most fun I've had with under 200 horsepower, and the Acura RSX, especially Type S. Those cars are pretty cost effective, have a ton of aftermarket support, and you can get a lot of experience and fun without breaking the bank. So that's kind of my balance there, you know? Can we see the cars you guys are going to explode? So right before I came on Tech Tuesday, I wasn't allowed to show that, but I'll tell you this. It's an exotic vehicle, and a car that any mobster from the 80s and 90s will be proud of. I can say that, you know? You can't truck a $1,500 car safely. Well, kids, Dennis Salem, you may be aware of a race series known as Le Mans. Well, not Le Mans as the high end, but Lemons. So look that up. If you look up the Lemons car racing event, you'll see a lot of cars there that are raced safely that don't break the bank. What handles better, Austin Mini or Miata? Well, it depends. I've driven a stock Aston Mini, Mini, and I've driven a Miata, and the Miata really is really good in the handling department. How's the Moby project going so far? I'm wearing that right now, right? So that project is in paint right now. So I should be having it back in a week from paint in, I would say, a condition where I can do a ton of modifications with the team. And then it'll come back primered. And then when I'm done with my modifications, I'm going to drop all those mods out and then take it back for final paint. And I need at least a month to do that as I work through that project and other client projects as well. Hello, APR Chris, the guys who make my cars go fast and safe in a turn. Appreciate all your aero applications, which is great. If you could have any drag car, build any car in drag car, what would it be? That's a good question. That's a really good question. You know, a drag car I haven't built that I want to? Believe it or not, is a Porsche 911 drag car, because the key to drag racing is adhesion. And I did a lot of front-wheel drive drag racing for many years, broke tons of records doing that. But I always fought hooking up. I always fought adhesion, right? So that being said, it was always a problem for me to experience the best traction possible. So what better traction could I get with a powerful engine that's extremely balanced, with rear-wheel drive and rear engine, like an RR setup. So I'd love to be able to build a full drag tubbed classic 911. That would be crazy. West Coast Alex is asking, I'm in the Sarai Desert. Believe it or not, I'm in your county, Alex. I'm in Riverside County. That's where I am, not the Sarai Desert. So, you know, I know you live like in Arizona or something, but I'm kind of near you, you know? Yeah, some people come here to shoot, which is cool, because I see a lot of target practice. I see a lot of shells here all around me. Look, I have, look at this. I see all kind of bullet shells. Look at that. Like, shells, literally all around me. But we're here to do some explosive mayhem, which is pretty good, you know? What tools are we using out there? Well, tell you one thing that we did was we rigged up a remote device to trigger this. So in the car, we have this mechanism that allows you to turn the key and initiate from a nice distance from the blast area, this ignition trigger to now just turn on the explosive, which is pretty great. So it's pretty crazy. You have to watch the Mythbusters show to see it. It's absolutely fantastic indeed, you know? Is there any car you'd like to build as all-wheel drive? Yes. And I want to bring that to reality next year. I want to build an all-wheel drive 1200 horsepower EV. That's my goal for next year. Wish me luck. I should do a 944 twin turbo. Luca, I am down. Whatever customer wants to come by, I'll be more than happy to do that, you know? Step Mario is saying, hey, BC, if I send you my F22A crankshaft, can you do a stage 2 regrind? Or do you do those no more? I really want to upgrade my CB7 stage 2 regrind for me. Sounds more than perfect. Yes, I can do that for you. Even though I'm not focusing a lot on that nowadays, yes, send me a DM here and I'll take care of you. No problem whatsoever, indeed, you know? I want to see a Bisimoto Honda NSX Type R version so bad, and I want to do that too. It's totally up to Acura. We've been talking to them about that. We'll see what happens. Clinty Hair, courtesy of South Africa. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate your presence indeed. Thank you, EV Marketplace. Believe that. Do I like working with Matchstick? I do. So she, Sweet Dreams, is amazing. The most talented fabricator I've ever interacted with. She's just a wealth of knowledge, extremely talented, taught me how to MIG and TIG, and is just this individual who thinks out of the box. And you guys know I love out of box thinking. Jacob is asking, I guess you don't like RWB. What made you say that, Jacob? I have had the unique opportunity of working with Nakai directly on 6 RWB Bisimoto builds. So if you look through if you do a search, even here on Instagram for RWB Bisimoto, you will see RWBISIMOTO. You'll see all the builds we've done. Nakai not only is a great guy, we've had the opportunity to get to know each other. When we filmed together in UK for many weeks, a Need for Speed video game. So there's a game, I think it was launched in 2015, 2016, where both Nakai and I are in this game. And I got to know him very well, and he's an artist, so I love his stuff a lot. What I don't find appealing about the RWB, I would say, universe, is that so many of his customers leave the car stock, and I'm not a big fan of that. You see these beautiful cars that are like GT2 setups that are even more enhanced. They're beautifully put together by Nakai. It's like watching an artist paint to see him bring these beautiful creations to life. He touches each one individually. It's just, there's an event always around any of his builds. And I love to be able to supercharge, ITB, turbocharge these builds for customers. But if you have a bone stock 964, or bone stock 993, or bone stock G-body, and you put this beautiful body kit from Nakai with huge wheels, with 305, 325-inch wheels, millimeter wheels on the rear, and these beautiful deep dish wheels, and then your car is slower than stock, so it's not a huge benefit. It's actually opposing, and I don't like that. I even saw a car recently at Brecky, and it was green, it was beautiful, and I went to the guy like, oh my god, this is one of the most beautiful RWBs I've ever seen. And I talked to him, I'm like, tell me what you have done to the car. I'm excited to hear what you have done. And he said stock, and I'm looking just in disbelief while being sad that this car is so gorgeous, looks like it makes 600 horsepower and is bone stock and is slower than stock, which is crazy, you know? Corvo says, speaking of RWBs, if it was cream RWB, electric Porsche with plain interior is way too pretty. It's very pretty. Yeah, Plaid, I remember that. That was a beautiful, beautiful car. I remember seeing it in SEMA twice. But you know me, Corvo, you know me. I feel cars are meant to be driven, and no matter how pretty they are, they should be beat up. I really believe in that, indeed. And yeah, oh, right there's Patricia. She's amazing, by the way. Amazing individual. Takes so good care of us on set. And I don't know if she sleeps because she's writing great emails, middle of the night, daytime. Maybe a workaholic like I am, which is pretty crazy, yeah? But she's my girl. She's amazing. Amazing indeed, you know? Yes, the RWBs, they do look beautiful when hooked up. I agree. I've seen some great ones indeed, which is fantastic, you know? Teslas look very promising for drag race applications. What are your thoughts on EV drag racing? I think it's really great. As we continue to explore very high power output batteries with very nice C discharge rates, I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. And I love the one that Ford put together. They put together this amazing Mustang, which has this whir when it launches. It's so intoxicating. It's like, and it launches. It's great. So I really like the fact that enthusiasts are starting to embrace this technology, and nothing but great things come from that. And you know what the great thing about racing is? As you race, some of the technology actually trickles down to the street, which makes all of us great. Guys, this is no secret. I love EVs, but I really love performance EVs. Boring EVs, commuters, don't do anything for me. Zero. They're quiet, they look boring, I don't like them. But performance EVs, on the other hand, like what we did with the K3V, what I'm doing with the Mobi, what some individuals are doing in the racing community. They have its own sound, its own connection to the road, its own soul. They're fast, they're fun. I'm all about that. But boring EVs, I am not a fan. Zero. Especially when people make EV motors look like petrol engines. I don't like that. When people pump in artificial sounds, I hate that. Not my cup of tea. You know? So guys, that being said, I'm getting called to set very soon, so I must depart. But thank you so much for joining me on this 175th episode of Bisimoto Tech Tuesday. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll be back next week, probably on a different location. Cisco, I am here in Riverside County in an undisclosed location where we can do some mayhem, and we're actually blowing up a car, which is pretty crazy, you know? And Luca, you have the last question. This Honda that I built is at my shop. All right, guys, take care. Look forward to seeing you soon. Stay safe, and I'll have this up on Instagram right now. I'll have it on YouTube for perpetuity, and also on your popular podcast networks. Just do a search for Bisimoto, whether it's on iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, you name it, I'm there. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Cheers. Bye-bye.